that has been reported from Indonesia. A long-distance train rammed into a stationary commuter train near Jakarta. At least 14 people have been killed and over 80 injured. Rescue teams are still working to pull out those trapped inside the mangled coaches. The collision has once again raised concerns over the safety of Indonesia's aging rail network. Take a look.
A devastating train collision near Jakarta has left at least 14 people dead and over 80 injured. The accident took place at Bekasi Timur station when the Argo Bromo Anggrek long-distance train slammed into the rear of a stationary commuter train. The impact was severe, with one coach designated for women passengers bearing the brunt of the collision and getting heavily damaged. Rescue teams rushed to the spot, working carefully to evacuate passengers and reach those trapped inside the wreckage. Officials say evacuation efforts have been slow and cautious as rescuers try to prevent further injuries. A total of 81 injured passengers have been shifted to nearby hospitals, while bodies are being identified. All 240 passengers aboard the long-distance train are reported safe, with casualties largely from the commuter coach. Authorities are now probing the cause of the crash, with early input suggesting a possible disruption on the rail line.
Kami dalam proses evakuasi ini adalah berusaha segera dan secepat mungkin mengevakuasi seluruh penumpang yang masih ada di dalam gerbong kereta api. Semoga bisa kami lakukan kecepatan dan harapannya bisa dapat diselamatkan.
The investigation has been handed over to the National Transportation Safety Committee to determine accountability and prevent future accidents or incidents. With a history of frequent rail accidents, the latest tragedy has once again exposed serious safety concerns on Indonesia's aging railway network.
Right, another ceasefire broken. Israel has carried out air strikes in southern Lebanon. Remember, with Prime Minister Netanyahu making that statement just last evening that this ceasefire cannot hold. Lebanon's state-run national news agency has said that Israeli air strikes have hit villages of Chakra, Tabanin and Kafra in southern Lebanon, and that's happened today. A drone strike also hit a motorcycle in the village of Mansouri. The Lebanese agency has reported no immediate confirmation about possible casualties. The strikes come after Israel's military asked residents of 16 southern villages to evacuate, saying Hezbollah is using the communities to launch attacks on Israeli troops in southern Lebanon. This is clearly a confirmation of no ceasefire on the Lebanese front insofar as the Middle East situation is concerned, and that's the reason why perhaps the talks between Iran and the United States have completely broken off. All right, now we move on to the next one under focus in this edition of our Global, which is Australia's decision to make big tech pay for news, with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese unveiling draft laws that would require platforms like Meta, Google and TikTok to strike deals with media outlets or face a levy of up to 2.25% of their local revenue. It's a move aimed at supporting journalism and strengthening media sustainability rather than raising government funds.
Australia is moving to force big tech to pay for journalism, unveiling draft laws targeting platforms like Meta, Google and TikTok. The proposal would introduce a financial incentive system encouraging tech companies to strike deals with news organizations or face a taxation on their Australian revenue. Under the plan, the platforms that don't reach agreements could be charged 2.25% of local revenue, with discounts offered to those that fund journalism through commercial deals.
we can announce today that our government is taking the next steps to ensure that Australian journalism is sustainable now and into the future by ensuring that large digital platforms cannot avoid their obligations under the new Media Bargaining Code. The news bargaining incentive will go to the next stage. We released a discussion paper in November. We had submissions in December, and today we're releasing an exposure draft of the legislation. That is an exposure draft which will encourage deal making between the platforms and news organisations.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the goal is to ensure media sustainability, not to raise government funds.
This is not about government revenue. Every single dollar will go back to journalists, to pay for the journalism that you all produce here in the gallery, but in newsrooms right around the country, produce as well. This is important for the integrity of the system. We have engaged in extensive consultation. At this point, the three organisations, Meta, Google and TikTok as well, have been consulted with and will continue to engage with. But we want to see these deals done as were previously done under the previous regime. But it is a regime that did need reform, and that is precisely why we are doing it today.
The government estimates the scheme could generate up to 250 million Australian dollars annually to be redistributed to news organisations based on journalist employment.
We think that investment in journalism is critical to a healthy democracy. It matters. It's something that defines the way that Australian society operates. And frankly, if the work is being done by the people here at this press conference and in other places right around Australia, then your work needs to have a monetary value attached to it. It shouldn't just be able to be taken by a large multinational corporation and used to generate profits for that organisation with no compensation appropriate for the people who produce that creative content.
It marks Australia's second push to make digital giants pay for news, as earlier agreements have unravelled, with some platforms pulling news content from their services.
Now that sounded like relevant, but moving on from Australia back to Middle East as global tensions threaten to rise over the continuing naval blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, despite the US and Iran having their ongoing ceasefire talks. Though of course in a stalemate, the Iranian ambassador has denied any responsibility and accountability for the resultant energy and economic crisis. This, as he claims, the responsibility for disruption, or says that the disruption is entirely the responsibility of the United States and its supporters.
Global tensions simmer as countries continue to face a West Asia war-consequent economic and energy crisis, which is now escalating amid US blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. This blockade, part of US's tactic to force Iran to agreeing into a ceasefire on US's terms. This blockade has furthered the energy crisis, prompting the attention and unites a call for action across countries. And now, after the United Nations Security Council met Monday to discuss safety and protection of waterways in the maritime domain, Iranian Ambassador Amir Saeed Iravani addressed members of the media to assert that Iran is not responsible for the closure of Strait of Hormuz.
Responsibility for any disruption to maritime transport lies with the aggressors, the United States and its supporters. Any claims to the contrary is unfounded.
This follows his claim earlier, justifying Iran's responses to the US as Iran's right and obligations under the law of sea.
In contrast, Iran's measures in the Strait of Hormuz are grounded in Iran's right and obligation under the law of the sea and its national laws and regulations. Iran's lawful measures aim to strike an appropriate balance between security interests of the coastal state and the continued safe conduct of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz in a highly volatile environment.
All of this comes as two regional officials reported that Iran offered to end its chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz if the US lifts its blockade on the country and ends the war in a proposal that would postpone discussions on the Iran's nuclear program. US President Donald Trump seems unlikely to accept the offer, which was passed to the Americans by Pakistan, and would leave unresolved the disagreements that led to the US and Israel to go to war on Feb 28th. White House Press Secretary Caroline said Trump's national security team met Monday and was discussing Iran's proposal, but this entailed no detail on the outcome of the discussion. What's left to be seen hereon is how the US retorts to Iran's claims and the implications, if any, to befall the already worsening energy crisis amid the Strait of Hormuz blockade.
All right, from Middle East back to the Pacific, and that's where action seems to be happening. South Korea and New Zealand have come together to carry out joint military exercises, amphibious exercises over the last 1 week. And South Korea's defense ministry has said that the troops, or their troops, were joined in by a platoon of New Zealand Army. Remember, New Zealand is a small country, platoon is a big size there. And the exercises featured more than 3,000 combined forces from South Korea, South Korean Navy, Air Force and Marines. So 3,000 troops of South Korea and a platoon strength of New Zealand. They have signed a free trade agreement with us. These are the pictures of the amphibious exercises there. And they want to send across a message together to China perhaps, because that's the reigning power in the geography. And amphibious exercises there, essentially South Korean troops with a smattering of New Zealand with the Kiwis, and announcing a joint military drill there, the two nations, New Zealand and South Korea. Tremendous firepower there of the amphibious force. Or that was in Pohang of South Korea, joint military exercises between them and the Kiwis. Coming out of that, and a short break, but coming up on the other side, more details emerge in the Pahalgam-Like lone wolf attack in Mumbai, in which the attacker seems completely radicalized and is following, or was following, the Islamic State ideology, under the influence of which he attacked those two security men in the Mira Bhayandar area or suburb of Mumbai.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट? स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा सिंह MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिंह।
जीरा सिर्फ असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है।
अरे मेरे राजा।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western borders day and night. Earlier upgrades added new radars, engines, and digital cockpits, but the short-range missiles stayed old. Now the ASRAAM brings fire-and-forget technology.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है। स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चंकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला।
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बाद एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fight.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive. Few hours to go before Bengal votes in the all-critical Phase 2. And that will decide whether Trinamool Congress is finally ousted in the state of West Bengal or whether the BJP really has a chance. But there is one person who's making the headlines even before the elections, and he's been the face of the final countdown before Phase 2. And his name is Aide Sharma. He's popularly called the Singham of Uttar Pradesh, an encounter specialist who the opposition does not like. So you have encounter specialists, some who are loved by the government, some who are hated by the opposition, and he's one of them. And he's in Bengal. He's a no-nonsense kind of person, and he's very, 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 very aggressive, something that the Trinamool Congress does not like. We have videos of him in Bengal and why the Trinamool Congress is upset with him. And we have some exclusive details of the Kalma stabbings right outside Mumbai. You've had this man called Ansari, the attacker, self-radicalized attacker called Zubair Ansari, returned from America. In the wee hours of this morning, went around asking for directions to the mosque, asked people if they were Hindus, and if they were Hindus, he just stabbed them. He asked them if they could recite the Kalma, couldn't, so stabbed them. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the story that went unreported from the national capital, they called him Bihari, and a policeman, a Delhi cop, called him a Bihari and then shot him dead. Shot dead for being a Bihari, and for some reason the Latins media hasn't even covered the story from the national capital. That and more coming up. Here are the headlines. This is exclusive. Trinamool Congress extremely edgy about Singham, Aide Sharma. And the man that the Singham is going after, Jahangir Khan, a mafia don, Abhishek Banerjee's aide, says that he will slit their throat. He says he will slit the throat of election observers, including Singham Aide Sharma. Pahalgam-like attack, stabbing spree in Mumbai, right outside Mumbai. The man on your screen, Zubair Ansari, the attacker, asked people if they could recite the Kalma. They couldn't. He stabbed them in the middle of the night. Details emerge. He was self-radicalized, returned from the USA, wanted Palestine, backed Hamas, fought for Gaza. Details of the self-radicalized Ansari on Republic. And there's been an impact in Mumbai, in Bengal, just before the first vote is cast in Phase 2. There's been an impact because of this police officer, Aide Sharma. The BDO in Falta Diamond Harbour. Diamond Harbour is Abhishek Banerjee's stronghold, and that is where this particular cop was seen doing the rounds. The BDO there has been changed. He's called the Joint BDO. The Joint BDO has been removed for non-cooperation with this cop called Aide Sharma, Singham from Uttar Pradesh. That has just happened, and there's also a complaint filed against Singham. So it's a battle just before the second phase. They're fighting it out. It's Trinamool Congress versus Singham, and it's Singham versus the pro-TMC
lobby and establishment. So it is a fight between the centre and Bengal ahead of elections. He's going after the mafia dons, and the Trinamool Congress is not liking it. The Falta PDO, the joint PDO there in that particular area called Falta in Diamond Harbour, has been removed for non-cooperation with this particular officer called Aide Sharma. That's the breaking news update coming in. So he's making waves. He's not being liked by the Trinamool Congress. They tried to gerao him, they tried to stop him, they tried to hold protests, did not work. Take a look at the videos of this particular man. This is why they are so wary about him. Aide Sharma, a 2011 batch IPS officer, UP cadre. Even the Uttar Pradesh opposition, primarily consisting the Samajwadi Party, does not like him. Take a look at how he's getting them all rattled in Bengal.
आसपास के जितने भी लोग हैं अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा। फिर अगर कहीं से खबर आ गई कि किसी ने कोई खुराफात करने की, किसी को परेशान करने की कोशिश की है, तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे से लेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे, फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत। होगा ना आने वाले कह रहे हैं कि वोट नहीं है, वोट नहीं है। हमारा ऐसे कह रहा कि 10 लोग हैं यहाँ पे, तुम कह रहे 14 लोग हैं यहाँ पे। तमाशा है क्या? 1 महीना हो गया कि नहीं सर मेरा तो यहाँ तो नहीं है ना सर। आपका घर कहीं हो, आप एफएसटी तो यही एरिया ना, तो यही कर रहे हो ना, तो आपको एरिया एफएसटी का यही एरिया ना। ये जहांगीर खान का घर कौन सा है उसके अंदर? शर्म आनी चाहिए तुम लोगों को। शर्म है, मैं बता रहा हूँ हल्के में ले रहे हो ना। केसेस सबके रजिस्टर होंगे, जाएंगे सीबीआई को इन्वेस्टिगेशन दौड़ते रहना थोड़ा जल्दी। बोल रहा क्यों बोल रहा था तुम? पोलाइटली बोलो, भद्र में बोलो। मैं नहीं पता वो कहाँ रहता है, वो भी पता है। उसका मोबाइल नंबर क्या है? वो तो कहीं तो होगा मोबाइल नंबर। हाँ, नोट करिएगा।
Those were pictures that came in of this particular cop in action, looking for Jahangir Khan. Jahangir Khan is a Trinamool Congress leader, believed to also be a mafia don running a racket for the Trinamool Congress. That's the allegation that the BJP has made on record. Take a look at Jahangir Khan's response to all of this in Bengal, to the march of the police, to what Aide Sharma has been doing, and the last few hours. Jahangir Khan was caught on camera issuing a death threat to security officials, telling them that we will slit your throat after elections. Take a look.
জাহাঙ্গীর খান এবং জাহাঙ্গীর খানের টিম ভয় পায়নি এবং আগামী দিনে ভয় পাবে না, সেটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। আজকে ওরা অনেক খেলা দেখাচ্ছে, তা খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, শেষটা কিন্তু আমরা করব। খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, কিন্তু শেষটা আমরা করব। তাই পিকচার আবি বাকি মেরা দোস্ত, পিকচার এখন বাকি আছে, সময় শুরু হয়েছে। তোমরা ভাবছো নিজেকে কয়েকটা সিআরপিএফ নিয়ে বড় বড় মাতালা দিচ্ছ, কিন্তু আজকের গঙ্গনগর 1 নম্বর অঞ্চলে মানুষ যদি হেঁটে যায় না, সিআরপিএফ হাওয়ায় উড়ে যাবে। তাই সেই বিজেপি দালাল সিআরপিএফকে বলতে চাই, ক্ষমতা আছে গঙ্গনগর 1 নম্বর অঞ্চলের মানুষের জনসমুদ্র, জনস্রোত দেখে যাক। আমার একটা মায়েরা হলো দুর্গা, দুর্গা রূপে কিভাবে ওষুধকে বধ করতে হয় তারা জানে, একইভাবে বিজেপি দালাল সিআরপিএফকে কিভাবে জব্দ করতে হয়, কিভাবে টাইট করতে হয় সেটা ভালোভাবে জানে। তাই মায়েরা যখন সঙ্গে আছে, আমার বিশ্বাস ওদের এই ধমকানো চমকানো আমরা মেনে নেব না। তাই আমি চাই।
So that's the story developing in the state of Bengal, and we will be live starting 6 a.m. tomorrow when Bengal goes to polls in phase 2. 142 seats in phase 2 of the Bengal elections. Ladies and gentlemen, let's switch now and get you the visuals, the horrible images from right outside Mumbai. An incident that reminded us of the Pahalgam terror attack, because like in Pahalgam, you had an attacker going loose, asking people what their religion was and attacking them. That's the video of the attack. Pahalgam rerun in Mumbai, right outside Mumbai. This is in Mira Road, right outside Mumbai, where you can see this attacker, Zubair Ansari, there, stabbing people, running behind Hindus and stabbing them. He asked them what their religion was, asked them, aren't you a Hindu? Can you recite the Kalma? And when they said they couldn't, stabbed them in the middle of the night. The attack itself reported at 3 a.m. this morning, and that's the video of the attacker. Republic has accessed more details of this self-radicalized Zubair Ansari. He asked people to recite the Kalma, which is an Islamic declaration of faith, a request that they reportedly denied. He was living alone. He reportedly had returned from the USA, linked to an ISIS module. And the case has now been handed over to the Maharashtra ATS. It is investigating a possible lone wolf terror angle to this particular attack. The attack itself between 3 to 4 a.m. this morning, right outside Mumbai, where Ansari allegedly approached two guards, namely Rajkumar Mishra and Subroto Sen, at a construction site. Republic gets exclusive details. In fact, we also have a graphic of what was, a picture rather, of what was hung outside his door. We'll get you details of that and also details of what the victim has said to Republic TV in this particular case. Let's play those details out. That's the note that was placed on the attacker's door. It says, read Kul Huwu Allahu Ahad. Say Bismillah. Do Salam. Then enter. That was a note that was reportedly placed on the door of Zubair Ansari. Zubair Ansari, the attacker, in the attack outside Mumbai. The Maharashtra ATS, meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, is also investigating the financial transactions of Zubair Ansari, the accused in the stabbings, the Kalma stabbings right outside Mumbai. He's a resident of Mira Road, Nayanagar, right outside Mumbai. He had traveled overseas several times and was residing in the United States of America. The ATS in Maharashtra is conducting an investigation into all these aspects and whether there's any financial link between him and anyone else, mostly in America. That's the angle now. They're looking out rather, on whether he had links to anybody there. That's the breaking news update. They're probing the foreign trips. We also spoke to the eyewitnesses. We went there to the location where the attack took place. This is what people told us there, the witnesses told us there, and the reports that were filed by the Republic team.
मैं बाहर गया था काम से, तो घर जा रहा था, तो उतने में वॉच में अंदर घुसा ना, तो वॉचमैन लोग डरे हुए थे, मेरे को रुकाए, बोले ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है, तो फिर मैं डायरेक्ट उसका हाथ पकड़ा, चौकी लेके गया फ़ौरन उसको, फिर उसने पुलिस चौकी में सब बताया, फिर उसने बोला कि
किसका हाथ पकड़े थे?
पहले वॉचमैन का लिया, क्योंकि जो दूसरा लगा सुबह था वो अंदर छुपा हुआ था, मतलब डर के मारे छुपा था अंदर, बाहर नहीं आ रहा था। तो वॉचमैन ने उन लोगों ने बोले कि वो अंदर ही है, तो मैं उसको ढूंढा, मिला तो उसको ही पकड़ के मैं चौकी लेके गया। फिर पुलिस वाले लोग ने बोले कि उसको जाके तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा दो। तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा के मैं आ गया अपना।
उस समय जो राजकुमार थे मिश्रा, उस समय थे वहाँ पे?
नहीं, वो टाइम थे उनको, उनकी सुब्रतो की जान बचाने के लिए उसने उसको भी चाकू मार दिया। ऐसा बोल रहे।
अच्छा, कौन बोल रहा था?
वॉचमैन लोग ही बोल रहे थे।
तो सुब्रतो कहाँ छुपा था?
सुब्रतो मेन सुब्रतो यहाँ पे बाहर बैठा था, तो बाहर हुआ था पहले, वो अपनी जान बचाते बचाते अंदर भागा। अंदर जो मिश्रा जी करके वो हेड है यहाँ के, उन लोग के हेड है, सुपरवाइजर है, तो उनने इन लोग की जान बचाने के लिए तो उसको भी मार दिया चाकू।
उस समय कैसी स्थिति, कैसी उनका हालात था राजकुमार मिश्रा का?
वो मैं देखा नहीं।
और सुब्रतो का?
सुब्रतो को ज़्यादा नहीं लगी, थोड़ी एक ही पीठ पे लगी थी खाली।
कुछ बोल रहा था सुब्रतो?
हाँ, वो बोल रहा था, कुछ तो हुआ था, बोल रहा था साइको था, कुछ पागल था, आके मार रहा था।
मैं इस समय आरोपी जुबैर अंसारी के घर के बाहर हूँ, तस्वीरें दिखा रहा हूँ किस तरह से रूम नंबर 304, ये तस्वीरें देखिए, और जो यहाँ नोटिस लगाया गया है, ये पुलिस द्वारा नोटिस लगाया गया है और इस रूम को सील कर दिया गया है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ मैं दिखा रहा हूँ कि यहाँ पे जो नोटिस लगाया गया है, ये आरोपी जुबैर अंसारी ने लगाया है और इसमें जो लिखा है वो हम बता रहे हैं। दारूद शरीफ एक बार बोलो, बिस्मिल्लाह कहो, सलाम करो, फिर अंदर आओ। मतलब साफ तौर से है गैर मुस्लिम जुबैर अंसारी घर नहीं जा सकता है। ये कहने के बाद तब जाकर आपको एंट्री मिलेगी। तो साफ तौर से है जुबैर अंसारी कितना कट्टर है, ये साफ तौर से यहाँ पे जो नोटिस लगाया गया है, ये छोटा सा नोटिस यहाँ चिपकाया गया है। ये तस्वीर में दिखा रहा हूँ, ये देखिए किस तरह से, और यहाँ पे साफ तौर से लिखा है कि सलाम करो यहाँ पर, और आयाते यहाँ पे कुछ उर्दू में भी लिखा गया है। तो कहीं न कहीं ये बताता है कि किस तरह से जुबैर अंसारी कट्टर है। और जिस तरह से महाराष्ट्र ATS के जांच में सामने आया कि जो नोट्स मिले हैं उसमें ISI साथ ही जिहाद और कई ऐसी चीज़ें मिले हैं जिसको लेकर महाराष्ट्र ATS जांच कर रही है। ये तस्वीरें बयां कर रही है कि आरोपी जुबैर अंसारी कितना कट्टर है। और यहाँ पे नोटिस लगाया गया है कि आपको ये कहना पड़ेगा तब जाकर यहाँ पे घर के अंदर एंट्री मिलेगी। फिलहाल महाराष्ट्र ATS जांच कर रही है, NIA जांच कर रही है और लगातार इस मामले को लेकर खुलासे हो रहे हैं।
Next, we shift focus to a story from Delhi that largely went unreported by the media here, the Lutyens media, what we call the Lutyens media, went completely silent on how a Delhi police officer was arrested after he allegedly shot dead a 21-year-old man and injured another following an altercation over some noise on the street in Dwarka, New Delhi. The head constable, identified by his first name Neeraj, is posted with the Delhi Police Special Cell, and according to officials, the murder took place when the police officer objected to a group of people who were returning from an event, and he claimed they were making noise in the street in front of his house. He stepped out, got into a fight, and then removed his Glock pistol, shot at one of the victims right in the chest. The bullet pierced the victim's chest, struck a second man who was critically injured. The victim's family has alleged that the shooting was motivated, and he called them Biharis, said, "You are a Bihari," and shot him dead. That's the allegation being made by the family. Now, the police is investigating into what has been claimed by the family. The accused was off duty at the point. Officials say they're also investigating whether he used his service pistol in the crime. A Glock pistol was used. Investigation is on. Republic spoke to the victim's family, and this is what they alleged while speaking to Republic on the identity. They said the Bihari identity was used to attack the victim in this case.
Father of the victim Pandav Kumar with us, who died in the early hours of Sunday around 2 a.m., who was shot dead by a constable of Special Cell of Delhi Police. अंकल जी, एक बात बताइए कि पांडव, पहले तो बताइए किस तरीके का लड़का था?
दोस्त का बर्थडे में गया 7-8 आदमी, खाना वाना खा के करीब 1:30 बज गया मेन रोड पे गया। मेन रोड के सामने में घर पर दूसरी बस उतरा, बोला बिहारी ये प्लॉट खरीद लिया है, घर बना लिया है, गंद फैला दिया है। एक आदमी तो रगड़ दिया, भाग गया, सामान देखा तो भाग गया डर से। उधर से आया था, पकड़ लिया, मोटरसाइकिल नहीं स्टार्ट लिया, सामने में गोली भरा, सामने में बैरल है पर रख के तब मारा सेट कैसे कर। इसका पार से पार हो के पीछा आदमी बला के लग गया। उस दिन दियाल में भर्ती है। माफी मांगा, हम कुछ नहीं किया है, कल के नहीं बिहारी की छोड़ेंगे नहीं। बिहारी को बहुत गंद मचा दिया है, 7-8 को गाड़ी दिया है, छोड़ेंगे हमने।
तो आप कह रहे हैं कि वो बिहारी था, इस वजह से उसने कांस्टेबल ने क्रोध में आके गोली मारी उसको?
हाँ, क्रोध मारा। ऊपर से दूसरी बस उतरा, सीसी कैमरा लगा है दोनों साइड, और उतर के तकर बाद जाके सामने में गोली भरा है। 2 पिस्टन था, हम बोला हमारे भतिया 2 पिस्टन, और तब जाके डर से तो भाग गया 1-2 आदमी। उतर के माफ़ी मांगा, हम कुछ नहीं किया, हम अपना हम गप करते हैं। कल के बिहारी सारे ये बिहारी ने सब ये सब गंद मचा दिया है, 10-12 को गाड़ी दिया है और जमीन लेकर प्लॉट बना लिया है। बहुत बिहारी का अति हो गया है, पैसा वाला हो गया है।
Meanwhile, there was also a protest march that broke out following the shooting of a youth. These are pictures of the protests that were carried out in the national capital, where people ask the question, is it a crime to be a Bihari? This is what happened in the national capital. Sarthak is joining us live. Sarthak, what are the facts of this case on the claim being made by the family that the boy was called Bihari and shot? Either way, why would a police officer shoot someone in the chest point blank?
Yes, Niranjan, this is as much as it sounds unbelievable. The family members alleges that this was the primary reason why he got aggressive. He shot the 21-year-old boy Pandav Kumar right in the chest. They were returning back home at around 2 a.m. On Sunday morning from a birthday party when they got into a verbal altercation with this man who had issues with them making some noise, and then he started, allegedly according to the family, he started making some racial slurs at them. He started calling them Bihari and how problematic it is to be a Bihari, and then eventually that verbal altercation turned into a physical scuffle, and eventually he went inside the house. He came out with a service revolver and he shot at these three boys who were sitting on a bike. The shot went through Pandav Kumar's chest. He died at the spot, and the second man, Krishna, got struck by that bullet. He is also critically injured. He is at this point in the hospital. The friends of Pandav Kumar, the victim, say that it was his some form of hatred towards Biharis, due to which he became extremely aggressive and decided to fire a shot at them. At this point, the family is demanding strict actions to be taken against the constable. Just to remind the viewers, he has been taken into custody by Delhi police. Initially, after the incident, he was absconding. Delhi police took cognizance of this. They found him. He has been taken into custody. And further, what was the actual reason for which he made the shot? That is still being investigated by Delhi police. However, the family alleges that it was his personal hatred towards Bihari that made him extremely aggressive, and that was the reason why he shot a fire at them.
Coming in, Sarthak, I have a breaking news update. I'll have to cut out of this for a bit. Donald Trump has claimed that Iran wants to open the Strait of Hormuz. He said Iran has just informed America that they are in a state of collapse and that they want to open the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So there's a big claim. Donald Trump once again saying that Iran wants to open the Strait of Hormuz, wants America to open the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible. So it's an indication, perhaps, that maybe Donald Trump will be able to remove that blockade. Is that the hint, the bigger hint? He says Iran has requested America to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they figure out their leadership situation. He claims that Iran has told America that they're in a state of collapse. Now, this claim comes on the back of the reports that Americans and American leaders kept claiming that Iran is on the brink and that energy had been squeezed completely and that they were really struggling because of the blockade. So we will have to wait and watch how this plays out. Trump claiming Iran wants the Strait of Hormuz to be open. Will that mean they will open the Strait of Hormuz and end the blockade? We will keep an eye out on that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it on this edition of This Is Exclusive. We're taking a break, but tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow's exit poll day. Tomorrow is the final phase of the elections, the mini general election, phase 2 of Bengal. 142 seats. Republic will be live. Stay tuned.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे हर सॉलिड इसकी फील है जिंदल साथी सील है तो उसकी स्टेनलेस स्टील है क्वालिटी में दम है साथी रे बिजनेस करेगा ग्रो साथी रे टाइमलेस इसका लुक है साथी रे वो जिंदल
जिंदल साथी सील है तो असली स्टेनलेस स्टील है।
तो जब भी आप स्टेनलेस स्टील पाइप्स एंड ट्यूब्स खरीदें, जिंदल साथी सील जरूर चेक करें।
जिंदल स्टेनलेस, इंडियाज लीडिंग प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ स्टेनलेस स्टील।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात।
वाह मामा, क्या स्वाद है?
अरे मेरे राजा,
मसाला।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ, स्वाद आया? आया।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल बनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्यास बुझाए, ठंडक लाए, सबको भाए जीरा सिंह। MDH का जलजीरा जीरा सिंह।
जीरा सिर्फ असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH।
Corrector, the taste of success.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the Advanced Short-Range Air-to-Air Missile on the MiG-29 UPG version. This British missile from the company MBDA replaces the old Russian R-73 that pilots used for years. The R-73 could only reach targets 10 to 15 kilometers away, which forced pilots to fly too close to the enemy and take big risks. The ASRAAM changes all that. It can hit targets more than 25 kilometers away, almost double the old range. It flies at Mach 3 speed and uses a smart infrared seeker that ignores enemy flares and jamming better than before. The Indian Air Force flies more than 55 of these MiG-29 UPG jets in frontline squadrons. These planes guard the northern and western
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Super Prime Time on Republic TV. I'm Gesu Bharadwaj. And viewers, starting first, there is a Pahalgam-style attack that has taken place in Mumbai. In fact, we're getting you all the details. The attacker first asked the people if they were Hindus. He even asked them whether or not they could read the Kalma. And when they could not, he stabbed them. We're getting you all the details on that. But first, here's a check on your headlines for the hour. Take a look. TMC versus BJP over appointment of Uttar Pradesh's top police Aide Sharma as West Bengal poll observer. TMC says Bengal is no Uttar Pradesh. TMC candidate Jahangir Khan's open death threat to BJP over CRPF deployments in Bengal. TMC completely nervous after security measures in Bengal begin to stage protest against IPS officer deputed for Bengal polls. In a Pahalgam-style attack, Mumbai man stabbed security guard after ISIS-linked material found at accused toe. A Pahalgam-style attack in Maharashtra. Victim reveals he was stabbed after asked to recite the Kalma. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis hints at a bigger controversy over Pahalgam-style attack, says thorough investigation is underway. Anil Ambani in bigger trouble now. ED attaches fresh assets worth rupees 3,034 crore, properties of Reliance Communications and infra attached. Viewers, now starting first with a breaking development that we're getting in. Now, a police complaint has been filed against the IPS officer Aide Sharma and the Central Forces for barging into the houses of people at night and even assaulting women in Falta. Now, this complaint has been filed by one of the victims, one of the women who alleges that there was an assault that took place when the IPS officer Aide Sharma entered and barged into people's houses in the silence of the night. And in fact, this registration of complaint is also against the Central Forces, and this comes from Falta. Viewers, getting in some more breaking development, and this time around US President Donald Trump says that Iran has asked the US to open the Strait of Hormuz, and Trump says that he posted this claim on his social media, claiming that Iran wants the United States to open the Strait of Hormuz. That's exactly what he says. He, in fact, also goes on to say that Iran has just informed us that they are in a state of collapse. A big statement that has been made by US President Donald Trump. He goes on to say that they want the United States to open the Strait of Hormuz as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation. Now, in fact, Trump also says that he believes that they will be able to figure out their leadership situation. A huge claim that's being made by US President Donald Trump, who took to his social media on Truth Social and said that Iran wants the United States to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Viewers, now as India is going through a disturbing phase of violence in the West Bengal elections within its own cities, we're also getting in another development that comes in from Mumbai. Now, from Pahalgam to Mumbai's Mira Road, the pattern raises uncomfortable questions. In a chilling incident, 2 security guards were allegedly attacked after being asked to recite the Kalma. And when they could not do so, they were brutally stabbed. The accused, Zubair Ansari, reportedly armed with a knife, targeted them solely based on their identity. In fact, handwritten notes have also been recovered from the accused person's home with words like ISIS, lone wolf and jihad written on them that have only deepened the seriousness of the case now being probed for possible terror links. In fact, viewers, also political reactions have exploded with sharp accusations and even counter-accusations. But beyond the politics, the core question remains. Is this an isolated act of violence or a sign of a deeper, more dangerous radicalization? And more importantly, how many more warnings before decisive action follows? Take a look at everything that unfolded and the state's response.
Kalma killing yet again, now in urban spaces as well. A shocking incident of violence has been reported from Mumbai's Mira Road, where 2 private security guards were stabbed.
देखिए, मैं आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी घर के बाहर मौजूद तस्वीरें में दिखा रहा हूँ किस तरह से यहाँ पर एटीएस ने बाकायदा सील किया है। तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं किस तरह से यहाँ पर महानगर पालिका और नया नगर पुलिस ने इसको सील किया है और साफ तौर से देख सकते हैं किस तरह से यहाँ पे पुलिस का स्टैंप है और इसको घर को सील कर दिया गया है। ये है जुबेर अंसारी के घर। जुबेर अंसारी इसी घर में 1 साल से रह रहा था और अकेले रह रहा था। यहीं से निकला है और यहाँ से कुछ ही दूर पे, लगभग हम कह सकते हैं 150 मीटर दूरी पे है जहाँ पे घटना स्थल है, जहाँ पे जाता है और वहाँ पर गार्डों का नाम पूछता है और नाम पूछने के बाद धर्म पूछता है, कलमा पढ़ने के लिए बोलता है। इसके बाद जो हिंदू गार्ड थे उनके ऊपर चाकू से हमला करता है।
CCTV visuals show the accused, identified as Zeb Zubair Ansari, confronted the guards asking them to recite the Kalma. When the guards said they don't know how to recite Kalma, the accused turned violent and stabbed them with a sharp weapon. One of the victims, Subrata Sen, sustained minor stab injuries, while Rajkumar Mishra suffered serious stab wounds and remains in critical condition. Both victims were rushed to hospital immediately, where doctors say Sen is stable while Rajkumar Mishra continues to be under intensive care. Police have registered a case under Section 109 and 118. Given the nature and the gravity of the attack, the investigation has now been handed over to the Anti-Terrorism Squad. The accused was born in the Kurla area of Mumbai and used to live alone. The 31-year-old accused Zubair Ansari reportedly went to the US for his education in the year 2000 and returned in 2019 due to lack of employment. During searches at the residence, investigators reportedly recovered handwritten notes containing terms like ISIS, lone wolf and jihad, raising suspicions of radicalization. There were also notes containing quotes like Allah will guide you. A note was also found at the entrance gate of the attacker's residence. Eyewitnesses on the spot shared exclusive details with Republic.
जब घटना हुआ था उसके बाद जो है सुब्रतो को इन्होंने बचाया था, इन्होंने हॉस्पिटल ले गया था, नायाब नाम है। कब हुआ था और कब कहाँ जा रहे थे आप?
मैं बाहर गया था काम से, तो घर जा रहा था, तो उतने में वॉचमैन अंदर घुसा ना, तो वॉचमैन लोग डरे हुए थे, मेरे को रुकाए, बोले ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है। तो फिर मैं डायरेक्ट उसका हाथ पकड़ा, चौकी लेके गया फ़ौरन उसको। फिर उसने पुलिस चौकी में सब बताया। फिर उसने बोला कि
किसका हाथ पकड़े थे?
पहले वॉचमैन का लिया, क्योंकि जो दूसरा वाला था सुब्रा था, वो अंदर छुपा हुआ था, मतलब डर के मारे छुपा था, अंदर बाहर नहीं आ रहा था। तो वॉचमैन ने उन लोगों ने बोले कि वो अंदर ही है, तो मैं उसको ढूंढा, मिला तो उसको ही पकड़ के मैं चौकी लेके गया। फिर पुलिस वाले लोग ने बोले कि उसको जाके तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा दो। तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा के मैं आ गया अपना।
Officials are now examining whether the accused acted alone or had any links to a larger network. The incident has triggered sharp political reactions, with Maharashtra Chief Minister Fadnavis calling it a case of a self-radicalization and assuring a thorough probe.
मुळामध्ये एकूण हे जे प्रकरण आहे हे बघितलं तर सेल्फ रॅडिकलायझेशनचे प्रकरण आहे. मोठ्या प्रमाणात पुस्तकं, साहित्य, इंटरनेट या माध्यमातून रॅडिकलायझेशनचा जो प्रयत्न आहे त्या प्रयत्नातनं हा जो व्यक्ती आहे, आरोपी आहे, हा तयार झालेला दिसतोय. त्यामुळे याला केवळ काहीतरी आपल्याला जिहाद करायचा आहे आणि जिहाद करायचा म्हणजे इतर धर्मियांना मारायचं आहे, अशा पद्धतीच्या विचाराने पेटून त्यांनी हे कार्य केलेलं आहे. त्याला पकडलेलं आहे. आता ATS आणि NIAची मदत घेऊन या रॅडिकलायझेशनच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहे हे देखील या ठिकाणी शोधण्यात येईल. याचं कुटुंब हे परदेशात आहे, ते अमेरिकेमध्ये आहे. हाही अनेक वर्ष परदेशात राहिलेला आहे. त्यानंतर इथे आल्यानंतर पहिल्यांदा कुर्ल्यामध्ये आणि त्याच्यानंतर नवानगरला तो राहायला आला. त्यामुळे आता याच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहेत, याच्या लिंकमध्ये कोण कोण आहेत, अजून कोणी असे रॅडिकलाइज झाले आहेत का, या सगळ्या गोष्टी ज्या आहेत त्या आता तपासामध्ये पुढे येतील.
Congress leader Muzaffar Hussain, however, have stated that accused has no religion.
मेरी आप सब लोगों से गुजारिश है कि कोई भी क्रिमिनल का कोई मजहब नहीं होता, उसे किसी मजहब के साथ मत जोड़िए. उसने किस पर हमला किया वो एक अलग मजहब का है. इस तरह से कम्युनल हार्मनी को डिस्टर्ब करने वाली बातें कोई ना करें.
And to which BJP spokesperson Shehzad Poonawalla has launched a sharp attack, saying Congress always tries to whitewash and radicalize.
Congress is the modern day representation of Muslim League. It is behaving like Jinnah who divided India on communal lines. Same thing Congress is doing. They have once said that the first right of resources of this country belongs to Muslims. They have taken away SC, ST, OBC reservations and given it to the Muslim community on religious lines, which is against Ambedkarji and against the constitution. They have given reservation to Muslims in civil contracts also, which is against the constitutional spirit. And now also they are doing this only to rub salt into the wounds of the Hindu community.
As investigation continue, the incident, the Pahalgam attack, has once again raised serious concerns over radicalization and jihadi attacks, now spilling in urban spaces as well.
Viewers, now shifting focus. This is no longer just an election battle. It's turning into a full-blown confrontation on the ground in West Bengal. A high-profile IPS officer, Aide Sharma, leading raids, explosive threats from a ruling party leader, counter warnings from central forces, and now even the courts stepping in. As the campaign ends, the fight has only intensified, with law enforcement, politics and power colliding head-on. Our next report tracks how the Bengal battleground has spiraled from crackdowns to open threats, and why this election is now about far more than just votes and what meets the eye. With central forces on high alert, the Calcutta High Court stepping in, and tensions rising across districts.
West Bengal elections and a Singham-style crackdown is now dominating headlines. IPS officer Ajay Pal Sharma, deployed as poll observer, is leading ground operations amid rising tensions. On the final day of campaigning, a major crackdown. Raids conducted in hideouts linked to TMC candidate Jahangir in Falta constituency. Heavy deployment of SSB, FST and QRT teams, with the operation led by Ajay Pal Sharma himself. Jahangir Khan, accused in past violence cases including alleged stone pelting on BJP leaders, is also seen as politically linked to Abhishek Banerjee. Meanwhile, central forces intensify presence on ground. CRPF launching Operation Trust, ensuring 24/7 domination, Naka checking and security in sensitive zones. But the situation escalated dramatically after explosive threats from TMC leader Jahangir Khan, targeting the officer and the central forces.
জাহাঙ্গীর খান এবং জাহাঙ্গীর খানের টিম ভয় পায়নি এবং আগামী দিনে ভয় পাবে না, সেটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে। আজকে ওরা অনেক খেলা দেখাচ্ছে, তা খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, শেষটা কিন্তু আমরা করব। খেলা তো ওরা শুরু করেছে, কিন্তু শেষটা আমরা করব। তাই পিকচার আবি বাকি মেরা দোস্ত, পিকচার এখন বাকি আছে, সময় শুরু হয়েছে। তোমরা ভাবছো নিজেকে কয়েকটা সিআরপিএফ নিয়ে বড় বড় বাতালা দিচ্ছ, কিন্তু আজকের গঙ্গনগর ১ নম্বর অঞ্চলে মানুষ যদি হেঁটে যায় না, সিআরপিএফ হাওয়ায় উড়ে যাবে।
The threat narrative deepens with another warning directed at Sharma. TMC voices warning that after results, action will be taken against the officer even beyond state lines.
ये जो असंवैधानिक काम आप कर रहे हैं,
अपने बीजेपी के मालिकों के निर्देश पे मैं आपको इतना बता देना चाहता हूं, 4 तारीख रिजल्ट निकलने के बाद आप जहां भी भाग जाएं, आप छुप नहीं पाएंगे। आपको ऐसा लगता होगा कि हम एक दूसरे राज्य से आए हैं, वहां पर हम चले जाएंगे और मेरा बीजेपी का मालिक मुझे बचा लेगा। मैं आपको सीधी तौर पे यह कहना चाहता हूं कि आपके खिलाफ एफआईआर होगा, आपके खिलाफ चार्जशीट होगा और आपको घसीट के कोर्ट में लाया जाएगा, जहां पर कानून सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई आपके खिलाफ करेगी।
On the other side, Sharma has issued clear warning against intimidation and unlawful activity during polling.
आसपास के जितने भी लोग हैं अच्छी तरह से समझ लें कि अगर किसी ने बदमाशी करी तो उनका कायदे से इलाज किया जाएगा। फिर अगर कहीं से खबर आ गई कि किसी ने कोई खुराफात करने की, किसी को परेशान करने की कोशिश की है, तो फिर उसकी खबर फिर अच्छे से लेंगे हम। ये जहांगीर के घर वाले भी खड़े हैं, उसको बता देना कायदे से। ये बार बार जो खबरें आ रही हैं कि उसके लोग धमका रहे हैं, तो फिर अच्छे से खबर लेंगे, फिर बाद में रोना पछताना मत।
The political war has now intensified, with Akhilesh Yadav launching a sharp attack. Meanwhile, illegal battle also unfolds, the Calcutta High Court refusing to intervene in petitions against Sharma, saying no interference till April 29th, giving a temporary relief to the officer amid mounting controversy. Ground tensions remain high, with complaints of faulty CCTV at polling booths in Diamond Harbour and heightened vigilance across districts. NIA teams deployed across Bengal have been tracking illegal arms, crude bombs, and are ready for rapid response. Even visuals from Bhawanipur show posters of Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee being covered amid election code enforcement. From raids to threats to political attacks and legal scrutiny, the Bengal election battle has gone far beyond campaigning.
Viewers, now in a major breakthrough for the Indian security forces, Salim Dola, a high-ranking associate of Dawood Ibrahim, was deported from Turkey to India just this morning. He arrived in Delhi atop a special plane, was first taken away by the NCB and will also be handed over to the Mumbai police later. Take a look.
Salim Dola, drug kingpin who was apprehended in Istanbul, Turkey following a high-stake coordinated operation between Indian and international intelligence wings, arrived at the Delhi Technical Airport today under heavy security. A Dongri resident, Dola had been operating from abroad after fleeing India nearly a decade ago. Running a multi-state narcotics network is a close aide of Dawood Ibrahim. Upon his arrival in the national capital, Dola was immediately taken into custody by intelligence officials and is currently undergoing intensive interrogation at an undisclosed location. Authorities seized a Kuwaiti ID and a Bulgarian passport from Salim Dola, exposing the sophisticated alias used to facilitate his international movement. A known figure to narcotics agencies, Dola has been linked to international cartels and was first arrested in 1998 with 40 kgs of mandrax at Mumbai airport. Investigations indicate that Dola had established a complex trafficking network utilizing container transport, where illicit shipments were meticulously disguised as legitimate commercial goods to bypass port security. He is expected to be handed over to the Mumbai police or the NCB shortly for further proceedings related to multiple pending cases involving drug trafficking and money laundering.
Viewers, that's all that we could wrap in this edition of Super Primetime. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, at 8 p.m. on The Debate, our editor-in-chief, Arnab Goswami, will decode the Pahalgam-style attack that happened in Mumbai and everything that's ongoing, including an exclusive CCTV footage that shows the attacker and the moments of the attack. Stay tuned.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे हर सॉलिड इसकी फील है जिंदल साथी सील है दोस्त की स्टेनलेस स्टील है क्वालिटी में दम है साथी रे बिजनेस करेगा ग्रो साथी रे टाइमलेस इसका लुक है साथी रे और जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे
जिंदल साथी सील है तो असली स्टेनलेस स्टील है।
तो जब भी आप स्टेनलेस स्टील पाइप्स एंड ट्यूब्स खरीदें, जिंदल साथी सील जरूर चेक करें।
जिंदल स्टेनलेस, इंडियाज लीडिंग प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ स्टेनलेस स्टील।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
का राजा आरती और मसाला
Character, the taste of success.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से।
जीरा सिर्फ असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
का राजा आरती और मसाला।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट।
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है। स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और बरसान अरे चंकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
Character, the taste of success.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ और
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट।
साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे हर गोली इसकी फील है जिंदल साथी सील है दोस्त की स्टेनलेस स्टील है क्वालिटी में दम है साथी रे बिजनेस करेगा ग्रो साथी रे टाइमलेस इसका लुक है साथी रे और जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे
जिंदल साथी सील है तो असली स्टेनलेस स्टील है।
तो जब भी आप स्टेनलेस स्टील पाइप्स एंड ट्यूब्स खरीदें जिंदल साथी सील जरूर चेक करें।
जिंदल स्टेनलेस, इंडियाज लीडिंग प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ स्टेनलेस स्टील।
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the advanced.
Join International Institute of Hotel Management. Call 983-10-50,000.
साथी हाथ बढ़ाना साथी रे जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे हर गोली इसकी फील है जिंदल साथी सील है दोस्त की स्टेनलेस स्टील है क्वालिटी में दम है साथी रे बिजनेस करेगा ग्रो साथी रे टाइमलेस इसका लुक है साथी रे और जिंदल साथी सील साथी रे
जिंदल साथी सील है तो असली स्टेनलेस स्टील है।
तो जब भी आप स्टेनलेस स्टील पाइप्स एंड ट्यूब्स खरीदें जिंदल साथी सील जरूर चेक करें।
जिंदल स्टेनलेस, इंडियाज लीडिंग प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ स्टेनलेस स्टील।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Character, the taste of success.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाई जीरा से MDH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MDH
The Indian Air Force is giving its old MiG-29 fighter jets a powerful new weapon from Britain that turns them into modern fighters ready for today's battles. MiG-29s first came to India in the 1980s, have flown many missions along the tough borders with China and Pakistan. Now they are getting equipped with British ASRAAM missiles that make them as strong as NATO planes in close fights. The Ministry of Defense sent out a request for proposals to fit the advanced.
These assembly elections are peculiar in the sense that these are the set of elections where BJP has hardly anything to lose, except Assam. Everywhere else, it is like an underdog. The results will be very exciting. Nowhere it's very clear what's going to happen. We will have a ball on the election results day. I'll be there on 4th May on Republic TV as usual for the election analysis. It's going to be exciting, not just cold figures. So let's come and meet with Arnab Goswami on 4th of May.
The alliance partners of BJP, the CBI, the ED, the income tax, what are they doing? Oh, now they have the election commission also with them. Please ask Modi or Amit Shah about what the allies are doing. Entertainment is trying to take over realism. People of Tamil Nadu know what this is real. They will vote for reality. The reality is, who is going to protect the rights of Tamil people? There's only one answer, Mr. M.K. Salim, and it's the DMK alliance.
ममता बनर्जी ने कहा है कि शाम को 7 बजे के बाद महिलाएं बाहर न निकले। मैं कहता हूं आप भाजपा सरकार बना दो, छोटी बच्ची एक स्कूटी लेकर रात को 2 बजे निकले, कोई गुंडा आंख ऊंची कर कर नहीं देख सकता।
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
On the show tonight, a Pahalgam-style attack near Mumbai. Hindus asked to recite the Kalma, and when they couldn't, they were stabbed. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Islamic radicalization. At 8:35 p.m. tonight, some interesting moves. I think Trump's coming under pressure and is looking for a way to open the Strait of Hormuz. This is the defeat of the United States of America. And at 9 o'clock tonight, This man is being called Uttar Pradesh's Singham cop. Mamta and Abhishek are very scared of him. But the issue here is not about a Singham cop against Mamta Banerjee. It is about how the Trinamool Congress is virtually promising post-poll violence. Virtually promising post-poll violence and getting away with it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's call a spade a spade. Let's not try and use politically correct language anymore. So a 31-year-old Muslim man, yes, I will say Muslim man, a 31-year-old Muslim man whose name is Zaib Zubair Ansari, ladies and gentlemen, has gone on a stabbing spree in Mumbai. There will be people who will say it's an isolated incident, but it is not. What he's done is, Pahalgam style, he's confronted people, interrogated people, asked them about their religion. The video is there so nobody can say I'm making this up. No, I'm not. No, I'm not being communal by talking about it. Those who don't want to talk about what happened, they are the ones who are communal. Ladies and gentlemen, this man demands that the people he confronts recite the Kalma, Islamic verses. When they fail the Kalma test, straight Pahalgam style approach, he stabs them. Now our ordinary citizens expected to prove that they are Muslim on the streets to survive. Now, if I'm asking this question, it's because it is the question on the minds of every Indian today after this incident. Problem is, our media does not want to talk about it. There is an attempt to underplay it, to say, it's a lone wolf attack. What is this lone wolf concept? It's an isolated incident. Who made it isolated? In fact, the Maharashtra Chief Minister gave an interesting reaction. He called this a case of self-radicalization. He says the attacker was self-radicalized. What is this concept of self-radicalization? Nobody radicalizes in isolation. And we have to accept that radicalization is radicalization. There's nothing called self-radicalization and collective radicalization. There are ideological markers of radicalization. This man is not acting in isolation. Radicalization is caused by a wider ecosystem of Islamist or Islamic radicalism, where people have this jihadi mindset. Anybody who's not a Muslim deserves to be killed, deserves to be exterminated, deserves not to live, must convert or die. This approach is unacceptable in a secular society. So first of all, let's call what happened in Mumbai what it is. It is Islamic radicalization. I really think we should stop being apologetic about it. Now my question is, are people willing to accept that a Muslim man who's lost his mind, who hates anybody who's not a Muslim, particularly those who are Hindus, goes on a stabbing spree? You treat this incident, what Zaib Zubair Ansari did, as an isolated incident, or say, you know, there is a situation that made him like this, then you're denying what is there before you. Hatred towards anyone else who's not a Muslim. This is not acceptable. And we must stop being apologetic about it. I wonder where we are and why we are. Look at what happened after Pahalgam, and today everybody is saying this was a Pahalgam type attack. The man was asking people to recite the Kalma or he was stabbing them. What happened in Pahalgam? Yes. The victims were asked, are you Hindu or are you Muslim? They were demanded that they should recite the Kalma. Those who failed were shot at and killed point blank range. This was a Kalma test, right? And the point today is Kalma is not just, this Kalma test has not happened only in Pahalgam pushed by Pakistan. It is moved into places near apartment complexes in the financial capital of the country. You don't want to wake up now and call it for what it is, then you're making a terrible mistake. We all know, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a group of people who say if anything happens where there's a Hindu who's a perpetrator and non-Hindu who's a victim, this group will talk about it, like they kept talking, right? When there was an RPF cop who killed an officer, right? targeted Muslim passengers on a train. I think it was the Jaipur-Mumbai superfast train, July 31st, 2023, if I'm not wrong. Right? And ladies and gentlemen, that was a communal incident. It was bad. People died. We all condemned it. But the people who condemned that incident have got finger on their lips today. Because in this case, the perpetrator is a Muslim and the victims are targeted for being non-Muslim. Why this hypocrisy? Where is this Lutean pseudo-secular cabal? When one incident happens where the perpetrator is a Hindu, they write tremendous long op-eds about it. Hindus have got polarized. Hindus have become frenzied. We live in an intolerant society. There were all these articles written, and these same predictable websites gave it huge exposure. Are they talking about what happened in Mumbai? No, they're saying isolated incident. Lone wolf. Don't talk about Islamic radicalization. Continue to live in denial. I say, let's not live in denial. You want to talk? Let's talk openly. What happened in Mumbai is a case of Islamic radicalization. I don't give a damn for the other fraud media who won't open their mouth about what happened because, they want to balance it out. They want to be secular. Ladies and gentlemen, what secularism is this? Where these kind of incidents happen and you're supposed to be quiet about it because you don't want to upset the balance. What balance? Was there balance? Everybody talked about what Nupur Sharma had done, what she had said. Everyone condemned it. We also did. But nobody wanted to talk about the visuals I'm showing on the screen now. Right? When Kanhaiya Lal was murdered with a cleaver and those monsters put up a video showing the cleaver with which they had killed him, saying, Sartan se juda, Sartan se juda, Sartan se juda. At that time, you don't want to talk about it. Why? Because the perpetrators are Muslim. Because you don't want to accept that this is Islamic or Islamist or whatever grammar you want to use, radicalization. Right? Where was the Jamiat Ulema-e-Hind saying, what did it say in the context, in the case of Kanhaiya, in the Sartan se juda incident? These are people who will jump in every other case. But we did not also. The fact is, society did not speak up loudly about Kanhaiya Lal. In fact, a lot of people said Udaipur Files film should not be released. Because we don't want to know the truth about Islamic or Islamist radicalization. Ladies and gentlemen, I have myself given another example when we launched Republic. We did a sting operation on the same Islamic radicalized people. And that is that man, I forgot his name, is Abdullah Basit. Sits there with a denim shirt, denim jeans, saying, I'm going to carry out bombings in shopping malls. Let me go to Syria. You don't let me go to Syria, I will kill people here. And the problem is, the moment he was taken to the police station following our sting operation, I keep saying it, the same politicians went there to pull him out, saying, oh, he's being targeted because he's a Muslim. No, he was not being targeted. Later, this same fellow was caught trying to do a bombing before Republic Day, a few months later. But the fact is that this duality, this hypocrisy in our society, that we're not supposed to talk about Abdullah Basit, we're not supposed to talk about Satan Se Juda, we're not supposed to talk about Kanhaiya Lal, we are not supposed to talk about any case of Islamic radicalization because we must be defensive and say, oh, we are secular people, so we must not talk about Zaib, Zubair, Ansari, and we must dismiss this as one isolated incident of self-radicalization. I'm sorry, great respect for Devendra Fadnavis, but I disagree with this definition of self-radicalization, lone wolf theory. Nobody gets radicalized in a vacuum. There is a social fabric around it. What are we doing to confront radicalization? Are we being apologetic about it as well? Are we willing to take the bull by the horns on this issue? This is not a street brawl. It's a religious attack. Set an example. Or this kind of Kalma test being the new currency of terrorism, even if it's an individual doing it. Why are the Muslim groups quiet? Where are the Muslim leaders? Where is Asaduddin Owaisi today? Where is Asaduddin Owaisi today? He'll hide on this subject. He'll just say, don't do stereotypes. I'm not doing stereotypes. I'm throwing the reality at the people because the people have a right to know what's going on. It's our country. It's our country, ladies and gentlemen. If you were upset when incidents targeting the Muslim or minority community happened, you have a right for it. But if you're going to be quiet and say these are lone wolf attacks, isolated incidents, then you're calling for trouble. You're calling for trouble. Let's act before it's too late. Let's debate.
दिखाता हूँ मैं।
A raw video of the attack on Hindus. A Pahalgam-style attack in Mumbai. The attacker, Zubair. Victims were handpicked.
मीरा रोड के नया नगर में इसी जगह पर आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी ने 2 सुरक्षा गार्ड पर अटैक किया था। नाम पूछा, धर्म पूछा, इसके बाद आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी ने तुरंत ही जो सुरक्षा गार्ड थे उनके पर हमला किया। यहाँ तक कि जुबेर अंसारी जो है इसी केबिन में एक सुरक्षा गार्ड को अंदर ले गया, चाकू दिखाया और कहा कि कलमा पढ़ो। जब सुरक्षा गार्ड ने कलमा पढ़ने से इनकार किया, उसके बाद अटैक कर दिया।
Same playbook. Hindus asked to recite the kalma and then stabbed.
मैं बाहर गया था काम से, तो घर जा रहा था, तो उतने में वॉच में अंदर घुसा ना, तो वॉचमैन लोग डरे हुए थे, मेरे को रुकाए, बोले ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है। तो फिर मैं डायरेक्ट उसका हाथ पकड़ा, चौकी लेके गया फ़ौरन उसको। फिर उसने पुलिस चौकी में सब बताया। फिर पुलिस वाले लोग ने बोले कि उसको जाके तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा दो। तेम्बा हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा के मैं आ गया।
तो सुब्रतो कहाँ छुपा था?
सुब्रतो मेन सुब्रतो यहाँ पे बाहर बैठा था। तो बाहर हुआ था पहले, वो अपनी जान बचाते बचाते अंदर भागा। अंदर जो मिश्रा जी करके वो हेड है यहाँ के, उन लोग के हेड है, सुपरवाइजर है। तो उनने इन लोग की जान बचाने के लिए तो उसको भी मार दिया चाकू।
This is the clearest visual of the attacker captured on CCTV. Zaib Zubair Ansari walking on a street in the wee hours of Tuesday.
मैं इस समय आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी के घर के बाहर हूँ। तस्वीरें दिखा रहा हूँ किस तरह से रूम नंबर 304, ये तस्वीरें देखिए। और जो यहाँ नोटिस लगाया गया है, ये पुलिस द्वारा नोटिस लगाया गया है और इस रूम को सील कर दिया गया है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ मैं दिखा रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे जो नोटिस लगाया गया है ये आरोपी जुबेर अंसारी ने लगाया है और इसमें जो लिखा है वो हम बता रहे हैं। दारूद शरीफ एक बार बोलो, बिस्मिल्लाह कहो, सलाम करो, फिर अंदर आओ। मतलब साफ तौर से है गैर मुस्लिम जुबेर अंसारी घर नहीं जा सकता है। ये कहने के बाद तब जाकर आपको एंट्री मिलेगी। तो साफ तौर से है जुबेर अंसारी कितना कट्टर है।
Investigators have recovered multiple handwritten notes from Ansari's residence. In these notes, words like ISIS, Free Gaza, Jihad and Lone Wolf find a mention. Another note outside of his house, found by the anti-terror squad, reads, "Say Bismillah, do Salam and then enter." The Maharashtra Chief Minister says Ansari was self-radicalized.
मुळामध्ये एकूण हे जे प्रकरण आहे हे बघितलं तर सेल्फ रॅडिकलायझेशनचे प्रकरण आहे। मोठ्या प्रमाणात पुस्तकं, साहित्य, इंटरनेट या माध्यमातनं रॅडिकलायझेशनचा जो प्रयत्न आहे त्या प्रयत्नातनं हा जो व्यक्ती आहे, आरोपी आहे, हा तयार झालेला दिसतोय। त्यामुळे याला केवळ काहीतरी आपल्याला जिहाद करायचा आहे आणि जिहाद करायचा म्हणजे इतर धर्मियांना मारायचं आहे अशा पद्धतीच्या विचाराने पेटून त्यांनी हे कार्य केलेलं आहे। त्याला पकडलेलं आहे। आता ATS आणि NIAची मदत घेऊन या रॅडिकलायझेशनच्या पाठीमागे कोण कोण आहे हे देखील या ठिकाणी शोधण्यात येईल।
The attacker was known to be silent, mostly isolated.
हम नहीं जानते थे, हम जानते ही नहीं, उसको देखा ही नहीं हमने, कुछ आइडिया ही नहीं है। फर्स्ट रात में कचरा, सुबह हम लोग कचरा रखते थे, कचरा ही दिखता था हमको, कभी देखा ही नहीं है उनको ऐसे।
बात करते हुए किसी से?
नहीं नहीं, कभी नहीं।
कितने साल से रहा कुछ
कुछ आइडिया नहीं, हम बोले ना हमने उनसे बात ही नहीं की कि कब से आए, क्योंकि फैमिली रहता तो हम बात करते, कोई जेन से हम कैसे बात करें ना।
अकेले रहता?
और मेरे हस्बैंड सुबह जाते शाम में आते, उन्होंने भी कभी देखा नहीं उनको ऐसे।
अकेले रहता?
हाँ शायद, सब लोग बोलते थे कि एक ही लड़का रहता है, आता जाता रहता है, हमने कभी देखा नहीं। वॉचमैन और सेक्रेटरी को ही पता है जो पता है।
The case brings back the Pahalgam horrors.
क्या बोलते, भेलपुरी खाड़ी से मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी
यहाँ पे।
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी।
नहीं, आप टेंशन मत लो, अब बेटा आप यहाँ पे रहो, हम साथ में।
And the timing is no coincidence. As investigations gain ground, the question is, are there enemies within?
There is an attempt by some people to play this down, saying lone wolf theory and all that. Do you accept that view? Ratan Sharda, I want to start with you. There's a Kalma test fashion going on right now. What do you believe with this? I believe talking about it as, self-radicalized, individually radicalized, lone wolf, is a way of saying we don't want to talk about the real problem, which is Islamic radicalization. Ratan Sharda.
Arnab, first of all, let us stop finding excuses for what is purely a terror attack.
Yeah.
And this terror attack is not isolated. I would say there are a series of attacks which we have been denying for so long in the name of Dara Hua Musalman, in the name of religions are always peaceful.
Yeah.
See, these series of attacks that are happening, if TCS undercover spying had not been done, they would have denied even TCS story. And
they would have denied the TCS story. They tried to also.
I have read a story about Piramal, where there has been sexual grooming case again, where the father is crying about his daughter, and they will deny that also. See, this series of continuously aggressive and highly provocative attacks that Hindus will be attacked for festivals, they will be attacked for in their jobs, the sexual grooming, they will be attacked for the religion. All this is happening, and none of the so-called progressive Muslims, none of the so-called liberals have opened the mic.
No, they won't talk about it.
I believe there is deeper conspiracy.
Yeah.
The conspiracy is such that they are fearless. There are some centers definitely in India which are broadcasting these messages and creating this nationwide outrage. So there is a sense of civil war. This is deliberate attempt to create a civil war-like situation.
Yeah,
Atikur
Rahman, who is here with us today. Atikur Rahman, who is here with us today.
Legal consequences.
Yeah.
They know there will be some
No,
big
there will
lawyers
have to
who
be
will
strong
protect them.
consequences
They know
on
that
this.
liberals will protect them. They know so-called seculars will depend.
No.
That is why they got some great.
See, there is a
action will take time.
There is
some liberal protecting that the best possible.
No. I'll tell you what the protection is. The protection is that, like you have urban Naxals. Urban Naxals don't go around with guns, but they are the ecosystem. Similarly, the radicalized, the terrorists, the killers, they also have an ecosystem. And don't mind, like Atikur Rahman. Atikur Rahman has been part of the Zakir Naik ecosystem. The first time he came on television was as a Zakir Naik supporter. He knows what Zakir Naik, what rubbish he did in the name of Peace TV and all that. It was a money-making operation. It was a radicalization operation. The problem is these people immediately come on TV channels and say, I'll tell you what they'll say. I'll tell you, Sanju, what they'll say. The beheading of Kanhaiya Lal Teli is bad, but we must talk about Godse. This is the clear answer they will give. Yeah, we agree the radicalization of, this man going and telling people to do a Kalma test, Sanju will say is bad, but we must talk about Godse. They constantly want to do the but because they don't want to accept what is happening. People are using Islam or misusing Islam to do things like this. And people like these two gentlemen out here, Omer Junaidi and Atikur Rahman, think it's their life's mission to fight for them, to justify them.
Exactly.
Sanju Verma is on the debate tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Kalma test incident in Mumbai. Sanju.
Thank you. Arnab, first and foremost, the biggest lie that is being fed to the Hindus is that terror has no religion. Terror has a religion. Terror has a name. The name is radical Islam. So let's not hesitate to call out the bluff of radical Islamist terror. ये जो कहते हैं नहीं, इस्लाम हमें खून खराबा करना नहीं सिखाता, दहशत फैलाना नहीं सिखाता, All that is fine. But the fact of the matter is that 9 out of 10 terror incidents in the world can be traced back to one religion, that is radical Islam. So let's not bluff ourselves. And to the likes of Namita Thapar, who extol the virtues of namaz, when called out, she plays the victim. So सबसे बड़ी problem तो हिंदुओं के साथ है. They love to bring in a false equivalence. Oh, so what if I'm reading out the benefits of namaz? I also talk about the benefits of pranayam. I also talk about the benefits of Surya Namaskar. This is how you rationalize a bloodthirsty ideology. But I'll come to that later. I will quickly end by saying one thing. The TCS corporate jihad case. Who are the perpetrators, Arnab? Nida Khan, Asif Ansari, Shafi Sheikh, Shahrukh Qureshi, Raza Memon, Tausif Attar, Danish Sheikh. They all belong to one religion. I don't need to specify which one. Then look at the Amravati coaching jihad case. Who's the perpetrator? Ayan Ahmad Tanveer. Again belongs to a specific religion. Look at the perpetrator of the Nagpur NGO jihad case. The name of the key perpetrator, Riaz Qazi, belongs to a specific religion. Then let's look at what happened in Mira Road. Imagine, Zubair Ansari asks two construction workers to read out the kalma. When they refuse, he shoots them at point blank range.
Stabs them.
Zubair Ansari also belongs to a particular religion. मतलब सारे के सारे perpetrators belong to a particular religion और फिर उनके brand ambassadors टीवी चैनल पर रिपब्लिक टीवी पर आकर कहते हैं terror has no name, terror has no religion. We believe in
we
peace.
must find out why this poor Zaib Zubair Ansari became like that. The problem is not with the man who's done a kalma test. The problem is with our society, you see. It's a society problem. There's the whole drama. This drama has to stop. We know the drama. We know the drill. We know what they will say. Now they will say, oh, but you mentioned 10 Muslim names, but there was one Hindu name. That was what, that is what I think. One Hindu name was there. In the TCS case.
They will say you are hosting very incendiary debates.
Then Silte, you're doing very incendiary debates. Exactly. Because I'm not a pseudo, I'm not a fraud, I'm a nationalist, this is bad for my country. Now they are looking down, both of them. They are saying, सारे arguments तो अर्नब ने बोल दिए. अब हम क्या बोलेंगे? There's nothing to say. There is nothing to say. So the point is, this man, have you seen the welcome note where he is said? Say Bismillah and offer salam, then enter. If a Hindu were to put up a note like this outside his house, what would happen? Sadhvi Jaya Bharti? If Sadhvi Jaya Bharti was to put a note like this, there would be a front page story in some pseudo papers. But if it's a Muslim, they're asserting their rights. Yes. Sadhvi Jaya Bharti, just unmute yourself, please.
Arnab, what we are looking at this moment, and I totally agree with Ratan Shardaji, that there is a deliberate attempt to create an unrest and a civil war-like situation. Because what we are looking at this right now, even if there are lone wolves, there is an army of lone wolves who are radicalized. This is an institution. It's a complete. It's not somebody self-radicalized. There's an institutional system behind it who are radicalizing, and then there are people who are into, it is a whole categorized. There are people in the print, in the wire, in the news laundry that they will write, they are radicalized and they kill with the pen. Then there are people who are with us, they come on the TV and then they talk about, defending them. And then there are people who are this army of lone wolves are left, amok on the roads, and they go identifying people as Hindus and then they kill them. It is a high time that even this country and the political leaders do not dismiss just by giving a statement.
Exactly, which is why I disagreed with this self-radicalization theory today.
Radicalization, because otherwise today you are justifying somebody that, oh, this Ahmad or this Zubair or this Zayed, whoever this guy is, he had certain reasons, but what you are doing, others will start having reasons.
No, my point is just because he was using a knife, what if he was using an AK-47?
Yeah,
what if he was using an AK-47?
So even if the so-called intellectuals, and Sanju is absolutely clear on the part that there is this religion of radical Islam and we have to call it out. 99% of people you will not find that they will regret or they apologize or they feel bad about, because they believe in this deliberate radicalization.
You see, they keep talking lone wolf, no, Sadhvi Jayabharti. What is lone wolf? Lone wolf, one of the definitions I got was a political violence committed by individuals who are motivated by an ideology, but who have no membership in a terrorist organization. Wow. So if you are not officially a member, I mean, is Al-Qaeda going to give you an identity card? Is ISIS going to give you like an equivalent of an identity card? No. This is what they want to do. I just want...
the institution, forget about terrorists. So the people in the Pahalgam came from across the border.
No, if you're watching this anywhere in the country today, I'm saying please wake up. Please talk about what has happened in Mumbai. And don't think that this will not happen in your city, your place, your town, your community.
Or with us,
the danger is this can happen anywhere unless we really put the fear in these people. Yes, Atikur Rahman looking down.
It's institutional system. It's not by giving a statement talking about somebody's self-radicalization.
Atikur Rahman, nothing to say today. Omer Junaidi, usually you jump in by now.
I was waiting quietly because I wanted to hear what are the arguments that you have in your mind.
No, I want to hear what arguments you have to defend this. I want to hear what arguments you have to defend this. And if you defend this, then you're also a criminal. If you defend this, then you're also a criminal.
No. You're laughing at somebody being stabbed.
Yeah, he's laughing. He's laughing because it's a Kalma test. You see, he's got to laugh about it. He thinks that is that man being assertive.
It's graceful that people can laugh about it.
What's there to laugh?
One
minute. Okay. Omer, since you've started, we'll hear you.
Arnab, I want to put a question.
No, let him speak. Omar, yeah. Otherwise, he'll say I didn't let him speak.
Arnab, 10 seconds. Sir, you said that you were listening to the arguments. Here, we are not here to
argue. Yeah, it's not open for discussion subject. Nice thing, top man. Yeah.
It's an incident. You're not invited here for counter argument. You are here to respond to the incident. Are you even feeling sorry for the people the person who was stabbed?
No, he's not. He's not. Otherwise, he won't be laughing. Yeah, okay, let him speak. Let him speak.
It's graceful that people can smile about it.
Let him speak.
Call it an argument.
Shameful.
They have no guts to condemn what is condemnable.
No,
they
rejoice
before
in
and
it.
after that.
They rejoice in it.
Please wipe the smile off your face, Omar. It's offensive.
I got the smile. You should be ashamed.
Yeah, wipe it off. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Wipe it off. Wipe off the smile.
Yeah, I am laughing because you assumed what will be my defense. I laughed on that point.
Because that's how predictable you are. Let him speak.
I laughed because Sanju Verma ma'am usually be on the debate with lots of preparedness, and today she wasn't knowing that the victims are the safety guards, the security guards, and the accused has stabbed them, not shooted at point blank.
Oh, so stabbing is okay, huh? Stabbing after a Kalma test, nothing to worry about. It's a small thing. It's a pinprick, right?
Statements on national TV.
Look at the nature of justifications. Observe it, viewers. Observe it.
Now the point is.
Observe it, viewers. Observe it. Observe it. Viewers all over India, observe this argument.
No. Let me speak.
Okay, let him speak.
Are you in your senses? Just because I said they were shot and they were not stabbed, you decided, Sanju Verma ko, let's put her on the mat. Whether they were shot or whether they were stabbed, the larger point is radical Islamist ideology.
The fact is a man who's an Islamic or Islamist radicalist told people in Mumbai to recite the Kalma or get stabbed. That's what the reality is. Let him speak, Omar. I want to hear the counter argument. Let him speak now.
Let me speak.
Yeah, who's stopping you, man? Sanju, but everybody has the right to disagree with you as well.
I am trying to say the
I'm letting you speak.
Without any preparation, without any information, you jumped into
without information, who doesn't have information, man?
I have a question over the Islamic radicalization. The point is, whatever the incident happened in Mira Road, it is highly condemnable. I condemn it.
So,
and I
whatever
demand
the incident happened, you don't even want to talk about what happened. Look at the wording. Whatever the incident happened, whatever happened, it is condemnable.
Ensure that there will be no legal support to this.
That's all. Whatever happened, play down the incident. A man goes on the streets of Mumbai and tells people to recite the kalma or get stabbed. You say whatever happened.
Will Muslim society decide that these people don't need legal protection from their mosque and their funds? Tell me that. Unless you stop supporting such people with legal support and whatever, how will they stop? You are using, your people are using laws.
Let me speak,
What are you going to defend? What are you saying without any evidence? What evidence do you want?
Have this problem solved.
What evidence do you want?
Have the pressure on the judiciary.
What judiciary? Problem solved. Problem will not be solved through judiciary. Here, a problem will be solved when people like you, Atikur Rahman, will stop trying to defend it indirectly. He's getting hyper because this is Republic. Atikur Rahman is quiet tonight. Yeah, he wanted to play it down.
It is already 4 versus 1, Arnab. It is already 4 versus 1. Let me speak.
No, Atik is refusing to talk. Atik is refusing to talk. Zakir Naik fan, Zakir Naik supporter. Zakir Naik fan club member. Even today he will support Zakir Naik. Ask him 2 questions today. He'll support the terrorist Zakir Naik. Even today Atikur Rahman will. That's the level of the hypocrisy and duplicity. And then he quotes Gandhi. You know what? After that, Sanju, he comes and quotes Gandhi on my program after being a Zakir Naik supporter.
Let the police file the charge sheet. Let the case be on the
Well, the nation will take action. Yeah, that's all right. You see, this is what happens when you ask straight questions and put people on the back foot because you're asking the question. The problem in our country is the so-called media. The so-called media is dead. The so-called media does not ask questions. The so-called media wants to live in a pseudo-secular society. Only Republic asks these questions. Atikur Rahman, open your mouth. What happened to you today? Got the chill? Got the chill today, is it? You got the chill, Atik, today?
No, it's quite hot over here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hot. You want me to make it hotter?
We are facing... No need to do this. This is, the BJP and the RSS are enough for it. They can create any sort of bombs in our society.
Can't believe
Okay.
the shallow statement, argument, irrelevant.
He has nothing to say today.
I'm surprised.
He was about to give the Godse defense till I exposed him. He has nothing to say today.
Who is killing people in Europe and Nigeria?
No.
Are there RSS there?
No.
Is there BJP there in
No,
Nigeria
we
or
do
in
not
Europe?
need.
Atikur Rahman, let him speak. Ratan Shah, let him speak. I'll give him more.
Mr. RSS, Mr. Ratan Shah ji, Mr. RSS.
Yes, Mr. LEP.
I do not need any Chetan Singhs in my community. This person should be punished with the severe law of the land.
That's why I asked you, will your community see
can
that
choose
doesn't
not
get
to
good
believe
legal
the Chief
support?
Minister of Maharashtra.
Can you talk about the ideology which prompted him to do this? Can you, no, 1 minute. Let me ask him a pointed question. Atikur, don't shake like a leaf because I'm going to ask you a question. You're shaking like a autumn leaf about to fall. I'm not even asking you, I'm asking Atik. I want... Stop freaking out. Stop freaking out. Stop freaking out. Stop freaking out now. I'm asking you.
If you want to insinuate.
Umar, have you lost your mind? I am asking him, can Atikur Rahman in 30 seconds describe the ideology, which ideology did this man Zaib Zubair Ansari follow? Which ideology? The nation wants to know. The nation will know. The nation is asking tonight, Sanju. I want Atikur Rahman to tell me which ideology Zaib Zubair Ansari, who wanted to do a Kalma test, who did a Kalma test, which ideology did he follow?
Now, since
what
You know,
is-
Arnab,
You are not
Wait, no, let
allowing me to
Atik
speak.
respond to that. Which ideology did he follow, Atik? Tell me. Tell me,
I
don't avoid it,
suggest-
Atik. Tell me, don't
I
avoid it. Don't
suggest
stutter,
that
don't
I'm
mumble, don't look the
writing
other way, you Zakir Naik
I am
supporter.
writing my 30-second say.
Tan se juda.
I am
That is
writing
what
my
your
30-second
Islamic
say,
ideology is all
and I
about.
am making
You
a
said
WhatsApp,
Nupur Sharma ko chaurahe
and
mein-
you can read my WhatsApp.
No, I don't
Because
want.
Sanju won't
I
allow
want to
me,
know which ideology.
Rajneesh won't allow
Which
me,
ideology did the
Ratan
man who
Tata
was trying to do a
Mr.
Kalma
RSS
test
won't allow
follow?
me.
Which ideology did he
That is
follow?
why
Which
I
ideology did he
convey
follow?
my message
Which
and you can
ideology
read
did he
it on
follow?
your show. I am writing it to the coordinator
every argument
right
is,
now.
blended
I am
by
writing it to
What
the
is there? No,
coordinator
1 minute.
right now.
Ratan Shada, he's playing victim. He's playing victim. Well, I'm going to listen to you. Don't play victim. Ratan Shada, volume down. I am asking him, don't play victim. Don't play victim. Don't run. Which ideology did this man who was trying to do a Kalma test follow?
Yes.
Can the others be audio down?
I am writing it.
You tell me,
want
no,
to
which
write?
ideology did he follow?
You want me to write?
No, I want you to say it.
You want me to
I
write?
muted everyone. You
want me
speak,
to
no.
write? You want me to speak?
You speak, no. Which ideology
me
did
to
he follow?
speak? Now, nobody jumps in then. Nobody jumps in then.
Speaks don't qualify, man.
Fine, agreed.
Speak don't
agreed.
qualify. Okay.
Have some patience.
Can you end this boring
Have some
introduction
degree
and
of
speak?
patience. Don't try the patience of your audience.
Yeah, you're giving me a
Don't
migraine.
misguide your
Which
audience.
ideology
My
did he
30
follow?
seconds say now. Yeah, he was following the radicalized Islamic ideology in the same manner
Everyone,
as Chetan
in the
Singh
same
was
manner.
having a
Now he'll say Godse.
media radicalization ideology.
Yeah, at least he said the first
Chetan
part
Singh
today.
was following the media radicalized ideology in the same manner as this Ansari was having a Islamic radicalized ideology. Have I made myself clear?
At least I got you to speak about Islamic radicalization. No, अब तक तो वो भी मानने को तैयार नहीं थे.
Radicalization of the media.
And you first disown Zakir Naik from your life. Disown Zakir Naik. Don't take my name. First you disown Zakir Naik if you have the guts, man.
It's exposed today. You are exposed today.
Forget exposing me. Why don't you say something about Zakir Naik instead of flagellating like a you're flagellating like a tadpole on my program. Anyway.
You guys are
Ladies and gentlemen, remember it's only Republic that asks these tough questions. Only and always only Republic. Now, Donald Trump's trying to get out. He's in a mess. He's put out a tweet sometime back saying that I'm willing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz because Iran is asking me, Donald Trump, are you mad? If you wanted to do this, what was this war all about? Fact is, Donald Trump has failed. This is worse than Vietnam. Let's debate.
Amidst uncertainty over the second round of peace talks, Donald Trump does what he does best: repeat claims of victory and desperation of Iran. This time he says Iran is in a state of collapse, urging the US to open the Strait of Hormuz. Keeping as vague as he could, he doesn't reveal if the crucial economic corridor will be opened. Further highlighting the unrest within Iran, he says Tehran is trying to figure out its leadership situation. This comes after Trump cancelled Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner's visit to Pakistan for scheduled talks. He said Iran can reach out to the US at any time they are up for talks.
They gave us a paper that should have been better. And interestingly, immediately when I canceled it, within 10 minutes, we got a new paper that was much better.
What was on that paper, sir?
We talked about they will not have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. Look, that whole deal is not complicated. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
While Iran blamed Washington's excessive demands for stalling the progress. Even as fragile ceasefire holds, Strait of Hormuz still remains the flashpoint.
We're going across to Saurabh Shukla in Washington and General Bakshi, familiar faces in Delhi. And by the way, we are seeing pictures there of King Charles sitting there at the White House getting introduced by Donald Trump. This is madness. Why is King Charles doing this to himself?
Mom?
What is King Charles doing there? Why is he doing this to himself? I mean, I feel bad for the United Kingdom. I mean, I think he's gone to make up.
Don't feel bad, Arnab. It's a state visit. He's doing what leaders do at a state visit. This is a formal visit, and obviously reinforces the special partnership.
I've got to get you back to Delhi. You know, you're just taking the official White House line again. There you go. There you go. There you go with the White House line again. I just want to know. I want to know.
After that horrific night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, thank God that we are all safe.
It just proved that America has become a hellhole.
No.
It proved that America has become a hellhole. Matthew Wadham from Washington as well is a great speaker from Washington. Now Trump is saying that Iran has just informed us that they are in a state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz as soon as possible. Now, if he was going to open the Strait of Hormuz, what did he get? He's chickened out again. The taco moment, Matthew. Matthew?
You're referring to the tweet on Trump's social saying that Iran said it wants to surrender. And
no, he didn't say surrender. He said they want us to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
Surrender is your word.
This seems to me like war propaganda. This is Donald Trump. War is deception, right? And he is projecting what he wants to happen. I don't think the Iranian regime is collapsing. It's definitely fragile, but it's not collapsing. He is trying to play a psychological operation against the Iranians and trying to get the various factions that are struggling for control.
I don't think so. I think he's accepting defeat.
Fighting with each other. He is turning up the temperature and trying to exacerbate the situation. I don't believe for a moment that Iran said.
Let me get Milad Rabbani from Tehran. How do you read this? I mean, Trump is saying that the Iranians are approaching him to open the Strait of Hormuz. This happens after Arakchi's meeting with Putin in Russia. And Putin put pressure, and then Putin apparently has told Trump to back off. And that seems to be working, because after all, it is Putin who got Trump elected in the first place, so he owes something. Trump owes a lot to Putin. Maybe Putin has asked him to back off. Milad, what's happened? Why is Trump saying this?
Thank you, Mr. Arnab, for inviting me. I believe what Trump is mentioning about Hormuz Strait is something to have for a news feed in the U.S. Internal news media, I mean.
Numbers.
When we have a deeper look, we can compare this issue with experience of taking hostages, taking American diplomat hostages in Tehran. And when you see this, it was more than 1 year. And it was an easy thing. It could be solved very easily. But by having a look to conflict of forces inside the Iran, I believe the reopening of the Hormuz Strait is a long-term process. It doesn't happen in one night or even 1 week. And Iranian wants to play with this card. So I believe Trump is in a trap now, a trap of Hormuz Strait.
That trap, yeah.
And Iran knows
Saurabh is on. Saurabh. Yeah, that's what I think, yeah.
I would disagree on that, Arnab, and I'll tell you what's happening. The Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians have actually approached the US saying that they really are desperate to get the Strait of Hormuz open because the blockade has worked for the US. In fact, more than, if you ask me, I was talking to somebody who...
Yeah, so then let them carry on the blockade if it's working for them.
Listen.
No, if it's working so swimmingly well for them.
The Strait of Hormuz opening is the first thing that the Iranians are also now coming around and saying that please, let's open the Strait of Hormuz. But the template that the US has proposed is that you have to agree to abandon the nuclear program first, which is the final sticking part. And my sense is that Iranians will come around to that.
But the
because they're
Iranian,
bleeding.
that is a sense
They may not
story.
accept it,
There's no
but the
facts to
fact
back
remains
this up.
they're
General
bleeding
Bakshi,
and the entire
let me
world
get in.
is
Let me get in. General Bakshi, your favorite. General Bakshi, all
My
theories
favorite,
going
he
around.
is General
All
Bakshi is my
theories
favorite,
going around.
absolutely, without doubt.
Yeah, all
Sir,
theories. Why
good
has
to see you,
Trump
sir.
tweeted this, posted this, that Iran wants us to open the Strait of Hormuz, I'm considering it and all that?
Look, the simple fact was that it was Donald Trump who was desperate for an off-ramp because he is to face a midterm election November. The primaries are starting in May. The price of oil has reached $4.15 on an average in the United States. In Washington, Nevada, it's already $5 a gallon, right? Inflation is up, food prices are up, and that is hardly the condition in which he would want, his Republican Party would want to go in for a midterm election. Otherwise, he will be a lame duck president before this is through. He is under pressure. The global economy is taking a huge, huge hit. The price of oil has crept back to over $100 a barrel. The day the shooting intensifies, it will be $150 to $200 a barrel. What you are looking at is a global recession. And if this continues, contraction of the global economy, like in COVID, a global depression. Is that what Donald Trump wants? Because if he thinks the United States will be inured from that global shock,
Also,
it will not be,
so in a way, General Bakshi, is it that the Iranians have been very skillful in the diplomacy, even if you say that their missiles were guided by Chinese systems, which they were, like the German Chancellor says that now, Saurabh, Matthew, he says America is being humiliated by Iran. It's no longer a defeat for America. Iran is humiliating them because Iran knows that Trump is in a swamp. He has no exit strategy. And I think I agree with the German Chancellor. It's getting really bad. They've got mud all over their face. And Iran, according to the German Chancellor, is obviously negotiating very skillfully or simply very skillfully not negotiating.
I don't think the United States has been humiliated. In
very
this.
badly.
Well, I don't think so. If you want to believe that, go ahead. But just why that
I don't want to believe it. The German Chancellor says a whole nation is being humiliated by the Iranian leadership.
In India. In any event, the United States is not being humiliated. The strategy is
You
working.
want to believe that? I have no problem.
Well, the Iranian economy has collapsed. Their currency is.
You want to console yourself? I don't have a problem.
They're about to shut down because they're over capacity. They don't have.
You said the same things about Russia 4 years back. Look at Russia now and look at what your position now.
Well, I didn't have a position 4 years ago, but
I mean the same theory was put. No, that the Russians will come to an
Iranian
end.
economy is collapsing, and the United States platform of economic warfare is.
No, I think
clearly
Jal Bakshi, this is very serious. I think he's going to get out because
he
has to get out of this.
He will have to get out of this morass because already this war is nearing 60 days. Beyond
what a
60
failure.
days, he has to take congressional approval. He cannot continue the war. So he thought he has come up with a very clever one by saying the ceasefire will continue, but my blockade will continue. In doing that blockade, he thinks he can keep his military, the naval carrier battle groups out of harm's way and yet continue, cause Iran damage by making sure that its oil storage capacity is oil.
What has he got an enrichment, by the way, Saurabh? You keep backing them and taking the Washington line. What have they got an enrichment? Nothing. A big fat nothing.
Just hear me out for a minute, okay? The strategy now is to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz opens up.
But that was not the strategy yesterday. Yesterday the strategy was uranium enrichment.
The blockade has worked. But the blockade has worked.
Who said?
Panelists that
you said. Where is an official statement from the Iranians that they want an off-ramp?
The fact remains that the last minute